SeaWorld, a world of fun. This is a place you can drive your family down to gaze at some awesome gigantic creatures, where you can see wonderful and talented trainers bend the creatures to their will and see them perform fantastic tricks. This is what we know. A happy-go-lucky SeaWorld where we love to visit and the fish love to live. But what if I told you that the orcas didn't love living there? That SeaWorld is guilty of capturing and enclosing killer whales into small and hospitable tanks that cause their health to dwindle. That they were secretly behind the deaths of countless trainers and other unlucky victims. That SeaWorld, your family-friendly theme park, was up to sinister deals behind closed doors. I believe that SeaWorld should be prohibited from owning orcas. That they should be illegal to keep in captivity for entertainment. And I'm going to explain how I arrived to such a conclusion. On June 7th, 1999, a body was found in the tank of Tilikum the killer whale. The man found dead was Daniel P. Dukes, who was found displayed nude on Tilikum's back. Now, at the time of the story, the park seemingly dismissed the case, saying the man was mentally disturbed and that the death was an accident as he died from hypothermia in the tank. But when watching the documentary Blackfish, they discussed how the medical examiner's report was drastically different. They reported gruesome bite marks, mutilation of genitals, and that Tilikum had even stripped the poor man of his clothes. Yes, Tilikum had stripped the man and then placed him on his back to parade him. You would think this is a freak accident, but Tilikum had a history of aggression, as the documentary further details. SeaWorld had actually bought Tilikum from Sealand in 1991, where he was previously involved in another drowning of a trainer. Here we have direct confirmation that orcas were incredibly violent towards people. Strangely, Tilikum the whale was still at SeaWorld. But where exactly did Tilikum's rage come from? Well, you'll notice that a lot of orcas in SeaWorld have their dorsal fins bent. This usually indicates that they're in poor living conditions. Poor living conditions include small tanks and compact spaces, or being stuffed all into one tank. Orcas are used to swimming in the deep blue ocean that is very vast. And it goes to show that SeaWorld doesn't really take into consideration the well-being of these animals. So when one has a violent outburst, it's not particularly strange, really. But it wouldn't be the worst thing SeaWorld has done. Take the case of Kastaka and Kalina. Kastaka gave birth to Kalina, baby Shamu, in SeaWorld. Yet when she was growing up, she became increasingly disruptive during shows. What did SeaWorld do to mediate this problem? They took Kalina away from Kastaka. They separated the two. When Kastaka was calling for her child, she let out wails so incredibly loud, of such high frequencies in her grief, that they even brought in a senior research scientist to analyze her vocals. Now, believing that SeaWorld would keep such an aggressive wail is far more believable now that you realize that they would separate a mother and daughter apart for a couple of bucks. And their greed doesn't stop there. They harvest Tilikum's semen, sell it to other parks, and now they reproduce various amounts of orcas that have an inherent hate towards human beings, putting many trainers at risk and possibly creating more potential harm to other orcas. Orcas aren't really meant to be kept in cages, and we're not really meant to keep them, so we should stop trying to.